few moments' time, we meet Kim Petras, who is probably the youngest person in the world to have a sex change. But how easy was it to make that life-changing decision at such a young age? I think you'll find that she'll say it was very, very easy. We'll find out next.
Our next guest is only sweet 16 and she's called Kim Petras and she has dreams of being an international pop star. But it's not just the scale of her ambition that makes young Kim very extraordinary.
Well, Kim was born Tim and is believed to be the youngest person in the world to have had a sex change, and she joins us now, and it's lovely to have you here. Thank you very much indeed.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
So you were born in 1992 in Cologne, in Germany.
Right.
And we've met a number of people who've been in a sort of similar position, who've sat where you're sitting, and all have said from the word go, there was no question that they knew precisely what they were. They were trapped in the wrong body.
It's right. I always knew it. You know, when I was a little kid, I was always wanting pink dresses, Barbie, everything. So, you know, I've never really lived as a boy. I've always wanted to live as a girl, so I really knew exactly who I was.
Well, you have a very understanding family, and they, in the initial stages, in the early stages, you know, sort of just let it all happen. That's all fine. And then you get to the stage where, as you get a little bit older, someone has to say to you, when you were Tim, you are a boy. How did that make you feel?
You know, this always made me feel really bad because I always wished to be like a normal girl. But I really had luck that my parents accepted me as a girl. So I didn't get to hear that as often.
And when you were little, I'm sure that your parents thought, oh, well, you know, we don't mind, you can play along with this, Tim, but you will change as you get older. I remember my little son, he was pregnant for the whole 9 months that I was pregnant with Grace. He was telling everybody about the baby in his tummy. And I thought, well, there's no point in me saying, you know, no, you can't be, because it's pointless. And when the baby was born, he forgot all about it. But you didn't forget all about it, and that's the point here. And when you got to be 4 or 5 years old and you get to school, you can't go in a dress. You have to go as Tim. And even as a little child, well, how complicated was that for you? How difficult?
This was really complicated for me. I always wanted to wear all the dresses for my sister, and my parents told me to go to school in boys' clothes. So this was really hell for me because I love fashion always, and then I had to go in like those ugly boys' clothes, and that was really not fun. But even in elementary school, I had female friends, and I always, under my jacket or something, I always tried to wear a dress or a top or anything.
Something girly underneath. And then when you got to the bigger school and you're 9, 10 years old, the bullying starts because you're a young man, but with long blonde hair and girly ways.
That's right. They always wondered why my name was Tim and I looked like a girl. So, and you know, there's so many people who don't understand this and who just like to say mean things to you. And so this happened every day, and I really tried to ignore it.
And when was that horror when, I mean, anybody going through puberty suddenly realises, oh gosh, everything about me is changing, but changing for you in the wrong way. You're suddenly thinking, oh, I'm going to grow a beard and my voice is going to go low.
That's right. Every day I woke up and I was scared to have a lower voice or suddenly have a beard or anything, Adam's apple or something. So I was really so happy when I got the hormones and I didn't have to think about that anymore.
Well, everything done very young and in a very understanding way. You're, as we said, you know, your parents went along with you on this extraordinary adventure of discovery, and also the medical profession too were prepared to listen to you once they'd been convinced. Because at what age did you start taking the hormone?
I started taking hormones, I think, was 12, and yes, I had to go to many psychologists before, and many didn't want to help me. They didn't even talk to me or anything.
Well, you have to convince someone that at 12, it's very difficult to know who you are or what you're going to be or what you want in life. And so to know at 12 that this was something so serious, you were prepared to take that step, and that the medical profession was going to go along with you, would have been very difficult.
No, it wasn't difficult.
So finding the man?
Yes, that was really difficult because I had to see so many people, and when I finally got to know someone who knew about this whole transgender thing, then he said that he's never had such a clear case. So that was really great, and he helped me right away.
Now this is Dr. Meyenberg, and what I love is something your father said, because obviously Dad's, you were his only son. He had 2 daughters, your elder sisters.
Yes.
And so it was a bit more difficult for him to come to terms with it. But what I've heard him say, or seen that he's said, is we saw Kim as a girl, not as a problem, which is very enlightened.
Yeah.
And because of that, your parents would listen to you and did search and search and search until you found Dr. Meyenberg.
Yes.
And then the other thing is having the operation, a massive operation.
Yes.
To change from obviously male to female. You could have it at 16, which again is not necessarily legal until you're 18, as it is in this country. So how did you get the rule bent for you?
I got the rule bent because I had so many psychologists in the end who said that from more 2 years would not be good for me to wait for the surgery, and they they all gave me their exception and wrote to everybody, and then it got legal for me because I had so many.
So there were 2 operations. You had the first operation last October, and the next one in February.
Yeah, right.
And then so finally, you've got what you wanted, and there was never a trace of doubt in your mind. You were absolutely sure of what you wanted. When you woke up and saw your new body, what did you think?
I couldn't see it like this moment because there was a bandage and stuff. But when I first saw it, and I was just so happy, and I finally knew that I felt complete, and that's what I've always wanted to feel like.
And how about now? What is life like for you now?
It's pretty normal for living as a girl, but as I sing and do music and everything, it isn't that normal anymore.
Well, this is you. You are a massive internet star now, pop star, and this is the career. This is what you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. This is my wish since we're very young. My mother is a jazz singer, so I think it's kind of in my blood.
And do you have you got sort of albums and things that
I've only got the single "Die for You" out, which you played just before.
Yeah. And hopefully that will lead on to
yeah,
bigger
of
things.
course. I'm writing songs right now.
Well, we'll put a link to all the stuff that you've done on the internet on our website,
Great.
so anyone who's interested in having a look can discover you that way.
Okay.
And thank you very much for coming in
I wish you
today.
lots of happiness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kim.
Pleasure.